have struggled mightily through the year, hoping this is the game to turn around. And Rudolph with his first completion. It's Pickens in stride. There he goes. The explosion. Pickens, goodbye. Touchdown, 86 yards.
Big plays by the Steelers offense. Look at Mason Rudolph, the red-nosed reindeer, guiding the sleigh. I'm about to talk about why Mason Rudolph should be the starter for the rest of the season. But before we do, please like, share, comment, subscribe. Welcome to another episode of Coach Walker TV. Let's jump right into it. So before we get into the nitty-gritty about Mason Rudolph, let's just recap this game against the Bengals. What a game by the Steelers. The best game offensively of the season, putting up 34 points. And, of course, the talk of the day is Mason Rudolph. The one question I would have for Mike Tomlin, if I was a journalist out there or a beat writer for the Steelers up in Pittsburgh, I would be like, what took so long to get Mason Rudolph into the game? Listen, if we had Mason the past 3 weeks, maybe we win at least 2 out of the last 3 games and we still are clear in the playoffs. But having Mason out there doing what he did today was amazing. Look at these stats. I mean, he went 17 of 27, 290, and 2 touchdowns. He did not throw a pick. If you watch him, he was making great decisions. Najee Harris, 19 carries, 78 yards, 4.1 a carry. That's what we want to see, averaging 4 yards a carry. Jaylen Warren right behind him at 8 for 24, 3 yards a carry. And then if we go down to the receiver stat line, you look at George Pickens, 4 for 195, 2 touchdowns. Listen, that's the George Pickens we're looking for. He still got a block. But that's the George Pickens, the big playmaker that we're looking for, even though, Allen Robinson, 4 of 36. The other guys didn't really get a lot of catches and yards. But if you have the big play guy, George Pickens, doing what he was doing today, because they were leaving him one-on-one, listen, this is the kind of offensive production that you need. And the real question becomes, like I said, why hasn't Mason always been the second guy? Even before they brought Trubisky in here, Mason's been there the longest. We're about to talk about it right now. Let's listen to what Tomlin had to say when they asked him about Mason's performance today.
Mike, what'd you like about what Mason did?
He was Mason. We talked about it early in the week. He's got a belief in himself. He's aggressive in his play style, and I thought he did a really good job not displaying a lot of rust for a guy who hadn't played, obviously, a lot.
So there you have it, Mason being Mason. Well, how long has Mason been Mason? Has he been Mason for the past, 5-6 years since he's been there? Because here's the thing, another question that I'd have to ask. Mason Rudolph is the quarterback that's been there out of the 3 quarterbacks they have right now active, Trubisky, Rudolph, and Pickett. Out of those 3, he's been there the longest. He backed up Ben. He was there when we had a little bit more veteran leadership on offense. So why hasn't he been that guy? You put him in the game, look at him. He looks poised in the pocket. His IQ looked high the way he was checking off his reads, making his reads, looking downfield, checking back down, knowing exactly where everybody is. That is preparation at its best. One of the commentators mentioned on the broadcast today that they asked Mason, how did he feel after he hadn't played in so long, going back out there. And they said that Mason Rudolph was like, I feel like I've gotten smarter over the past few years. Even though he hasn't played a lot of, game action live football, he's gotten smarter. That's the kind of thing you want to hear from your players, especially your quarterback. A quarterback that's getting smarter every day. He doesn't have to play a lot necessarily to get smarter, but you can see it. He's been studying. He's been paying attention. I'm sure he's picked up some things from Ben, maybe learned some things from Ben, been sitting back quiet, waiting his time. He goes out there tonight, 34 points and a victory. I like what I see out of Mason. And, let's be honest. Pickett is banged up. Even if he comes back, he's not going to be 100%. We know how that goes, going into the playoffs. But I got a question for y'all, and y'all let me know. Let's talk about it. Get in the comment box. Does Mason Rudolph stay the starting quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers until the end of the season, through the playoffs, everything? Y'all let me know. Remember, please like, comment, share, subscribe. Let's talk about it. I'll catch y'all in the next video. Peace.